We will be good in a moment. We just need to wait one more minute for Councilmember Kunkel. But we are all ready to go.
Very good. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
I'm good.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
I love the snow. I just have to throw that out there. I wish we'd get more.
The snow? Was that the comment? Sorry. No. No, that was the perfect amount.
No, I get to use 6 or 12 inches more.
Well, we
But then
still have-
there's no school.
We have all winter.
Yeah, don't rush things.
We have all winter, Lisa.
Are we ready now, Sarah?
Yes.
You can also go to Snoqualmie Pass
That's true. Or White Pass.
or White Pass.
Okay, I'm going to call to order the December 5th, 2022 Joint Animal Service Commission meeting. And just for roll call, Carolina Mejia, Commissioner Mejia, will be absent tonight. I'm Lisa Parsley, the chair of Joint Animal Service Commission, and from the City of Olympia. We're just going to run real quick around the screen and then in City Hall. I'm going to switch over to Peter. If you can introduce
Peter
yourself.
Agabi, City of Stanwater.
Dick, you want to go ahead?
I'm unmuting. Dick Blinn, Thurston County Humane Society President for the month.
Excellent. So this is your last meeting then, huh?
My last meeting, Mike will be with you next time. I'll make sure he gets tied into all of these little nuances. So he'll be with you next time.
Thank you, Dick. And tell him he can reach out to Sarah or myself or both of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Ed, I'm going to jump to you in the City Hall, and then we can go around the table from there.
Ed Kunkel, City of Lacey Council Member.
Shannon Kelly Fong, Assistant City Manager for the City of Lacey.
Who can be like friends?
Sarah Hawk, Executive Director for Animal Services.
Excellent. I would love to start off with an approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as published.
Second.
Any changes or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Excellent. All righty, we're going to move right on to public comment tonight. Do we have anyone? Oh, wait, Shannon, go ahead.
Yeah, Chairperson, I just wanted to point out that item number 2 is the approval of the agenda, the previous meeting minutes and the consent items in one. And this is something that Sarah Hawk has been working on, really streamlining the agendas for this evening so that we only have to go through, one motion to get those 3 kind of regular meeting items through.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. That's excellent. Okay, well, let's move on to public comment. Do we have anyone online or in the room?
We do not, nor have I received any written public comment.
Excellent. Looks like we're going to move on to the public hearing on the Animal Services 2023 budget. And I would like to officially open that public hearing and would welcome any comment. Do we have anyone on Zoom or in the room that would like to present public comment?
We do not, Chairperson.
Okay, I'll say it one more time just to be official. Is there anyone that would like to make public comment on the Animal Services 2023 budget? Hearing none, I'm going to close this public hearing and we're going to move on to business items from there. And the first part of our business items is the approval of the Animal Services proposed budget. Do we have any further discussion on that, or would we like to move directly to that motion? Okay, well, that was an answer. Okay, I believe the motion would be to approve. Oh, I'm hearing some voices. And I
Chair
was,
Parsley, this is Shannon Kelly Fong from the city of Lacey. The thing I would just point out to anybody who is, viewing this video is that there was a very in-depth discussion of the budget that was presented at the last JASCOM meeting in November.
thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I should have said that. You're absolutely right. Okay, so for the motion, and I'm going to do this, and the motion should be to approve the 2023 animal service budget for a total amount of $3,452,650.
I would second the motion to approve the budget as presented.
Okay. And just to remind those who are not representing jurisdictions, this is a vote for those of us that are, and that's why it was very lucky that we had all three of us here for a quorum in that manner. So without further ado, if there's no more discussion on the budget, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Excellent. The next business item, Sarah, is the JASCOM meeting schedule.
Yes. Hold one moment while I share our screen. These are the proposed meeting dates for 2023 for the Joint Animal Services Commission. Again, we are looking at a recess in January and resuming meetings again in February, allowing for any change of appointments to take place in January. Are there any questions or concerns about the proposed meeting schedule currently?
So there is no recess in August.
There's one in August 7th.
Well, I mean a recess.
Oh, would we want to have a break in August?
Or because Labor Day would be our first in September, do we want to recess in September? Although we have to do budget. How does that fit into the budget?
We don't do budget presentation until either October or November, so
Okay.
we would be okay to do that. Since September is so late in the month between Labor Day and September 11th, if we would like to not have a JASCOM meeting in September, we can certainly do so.
Okay.
Does that fit what you wanted, Peter, or does Tumwater have a recess in August? Is that why you're asking?
Well, I think Tom would have a recess in August, but September will be fine also because August 7th is just the beginning of the month. You still have at least 3 weeks to do whatever.
Okay. Ed, how do you feel about that?
That's fine.
Joe?
That's fine.
Okay. And I'm assuming it'll be okay for the Humane Society. Dick, is there any question that might be an issue? Okay.
And we can also, again, bring this, I can bring the newly updated one to the February meeting to make sure that any appointments, if there's any changes, if the first Monday of the month still works, and then we can have the final approval for the 2023 schedule then, if you would like. And that would give any of you time for any items that you do know for sure that you would be absent. You can let me know then in the next month or so. That way, if we know for a fact there won't be quorum, we can adjust to a different date and have all of that set for February.
Okay.
Sarah, just one comment that I'm seeing here on the JASCOM meeting schedule, and that is our kind of stretch from October, November, and December. And I just want to clarify really quickly. So on October, that's typically when the budget is initially reviewed.
Correct.
And then in November, there is a public hearing on the budget as proposed. And then in December, that would be the adoption of the budget. What's up there right now is a second budget hearing. And so I just want to draw attention that that would actually not be a second budget hearing, planned to not be a second budget hearing, but for budget adoption on that date.
Okay. Okay,
Excellent.
all right.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. It's not bad like this year to have maybe kind of scheduled just in case.
You never know.
Okay.
The last part of the year is always busy for everybody.
Yes. Yes, and then it seems like all the interjurisdictional committees and jurisdictions are madly trying to finish their budget too, so a lot of overlap can happen. Okay, and you're going to bring this back in February to the, okay.
Yes.
I don't know if it will be drastically different in the jurisdictions representation, but we will see after we all have our retreats. Okay, are we going right into the director's report, Sarah?
We sure can.
Okay.
So just a few updates. I met with the Washington State Attorney General's office. If you guys remember, in a previous meeting, I mentioned that Washington State is forming an animal crimes unit. It'll be housed in the Environmental Protection Division. And so I met with Scott Halloran, who is the Assistant Attorney General charged with heading up that new division. So that department has been going around and meeting with animal control agencies as well as prosecutors to discuss what barriers everyone is facing in terms of prosecuting animal cases. So we had a really wonderful, robust discussion talking about what some of the barriers are and what we would hope to see in the future. For example, a training that actually trains both animal control officers and prosecuting attorneys how to work together to prosecute animal crimes. So from an ACO perspective, what do the prosecuting attorneys need in order to prosecute case, as well as understanding from a prosecutor's point of view some of the needs that take place when we're housing animals that are a part of a case. And so hopefully that training will be coming in the future, and I will keep JASCOM updated as these discussions progress. So we did have an interesting November. We had, unfortunately, a number of animals upon intake get diagnosed with a number of zoonotic diseases, as well as some other animal-related diseases. So we did have both types of mange, Giardia coccidia, which are both parasites, feline panleukopenia, as well as ringworm. So we, of course, went into lockdown. Several of our back rooms went into quarantine until we could either treat or clear the animals that were exposed. Thankfully, we only lost one kitten in total to panleuk. Currently, all the animals have been cleared of everything but ringworm, which we will continue to treat. Unfortunately, it can take weeks and sometimes months for the animals to be fully cleared. And we are currently looking at foster or even adopting out with support from us, cats that have just minor diagnosis of ringworm, because it does clear up quicker and faster in a home. For volunteers, as we continue to evaluate ways to increase safety, both for staff and volunteers, we made some safety upgrades for the dog volunteers specifically. We have included a panic button in the meet and greet area that ensures that if for any reason a volunteer or staff member needs assistance and is unable to use the radios that they are supposed to be carrying, they can hit the panic button and an alarm will sound at the front desk. We have also equipped fanny pack bags to wrap in numerous different ways, however you're comfortable, whether it's around the waist, shoulder, with some other equipment for safety when our volunteers are out walking our animals on our trails in the back. So not only do they have poop bags and a clicker, they do have an emergency whistle, an air horn, some dog treats, and the fanny packs that we purchased also have a pocket to hold the walkie-talkies that we check out to the volunteers when they go walking. Our cat meet and greet room. So we haven't actually had a cat meet and greet room for a number of years. Those who have recently taken a tour with me probably remember that our critter room was actually the small room off the cat adoption area. And so we have since, thanks to Liz and the creativity of her animal care team, we have since moved the critters actually out into the lobby so that they can be seen and interacted with the public on a more regular basis. And that actually freed up that room to once again be our cat meet and greet area, both for adopters to meet potential cats that they are wanting to bring home, but also a place for volunteers to interact with cats and cats that might be feeling a little more anxious and not suitable for kennel life can spend some time out and about in a larger area to help de-stress. What we have noticed as well with the move of the small critters into the lobby is a number of our small critters have been adopted and we don't have a backlog of rabbits and guinea pigs like we have been having. We also created a new volunteer position with it, which is our critter socialization volunteers. So they actually come in and interact with our critters, and we have a play area set up in the conference room for the bunnies that the volunteers can come and sit in the X pen and interact and play with the bunnies or the guinea pigs to help get them out and interacted with on a more regular basis. And moving on to our happy tales. This one is not an adoption story. This one is a happy tale that we talk about of our rescue partners. So part of the reason our intake had so many numerous diseases was we had a litter of 10 puppies with 2 moms come in diagnosed with both Scarcoptic and Demodex mange, Giardia, and Coccidia. They were severely malnourished and neglected. And unfortunately, even as they were left abandoned at the front of the shelter. So even as we were intaking them, one did not make it just from the time we found them outside to bringing them in. And then we did end up having to euthanize 2 for medical reasons. And so with that, we had 7 puppies left. And our team worked really hard to network them and get them out. And our partners at Kitsap Humane Society in Silverdale stepped up to the challenge and took all 7 puppies, met us halfway in transport. And so they are now being cared for by their medical team over at Kitsap. So you can see some of the cute puppy faces. Some were not as bad once we got them cleaned up and on medication. Others are going to take a little bit longer and are being put in foster home until they're ready to be adopted. But this is just one example of when we do transfers, and when I talk about our adoption and transfer numbers, these are our transfer numbers. So this would be when I'm talking about us transferring to an outside shelter. This would be an example of what we're talking about. And so it took numerous coordination, talking to different people. We had a local veterinarian take a look at the pups so we could send over medical records. And again, this is also one of those examples when you look at of why we need a medical team on site. So this is why we approved to have that medical team in the budget, because we at that point had no capacity to care for these animals and had to look outside in order to do so. But also with the number of them having so many illnesses, it was better for everybody for them to be transferred to a larger facility that have more staff that can give continual care like that. So thank you to Kitsap Humane Society for stepping up and taking these puppies from us when we needed them.
What's the Kitsap facility like? You said it's a larger facility.
It is. They actually have a mixture of buildings. So they still have their old building that has been transformed into the back end that the public doesn't see. That's where they house their strays. And then they have built separate pods in different buildings. So the adoption center is where all the adoptable animals are housed, a lot of the offices, and then they just broke ground on their brand new public veterinary clinic. So they do have a behind the scenes clinic, but they are launching a public clinic that will serve low income individuals in the area as well. So they are another one that has several acres like we do. They have more. I want to say they're closer to 7 or 8 acres. So they have trails. Beautiful view. I've actually been there. It's up on a hill and you can, as you're driving up, you can see the view of the water and everything. So it's a very pretty location. They take in probably closer to 5,000 to 7,000 animals a year. They do have animal control contracts. And they were actually one of the organizations we used in our salary study survey as well.
How long have they been working on the public facing clinic?
They have been working on that. That's been a labor of love. The previous CEO, Steve, started it about 5 years ago at the fundraising. And once they were ready to break ground and build, he actually stepped down from the CEO position and became a project manager to finish leading the project for the clinic. And they hired a new CEO. So it's been a process. It's been at least 5 years that they've been doing that, if not longer, just for the public clinic.
Just food for thought, that's all.
Thank you for pointing that out, Lisa.
Yeah, just thinking. Anything else, Sarah?
That brings me to the conclusion of all my reports that I have for JASCOM this evening.
Excellent. Is there anything for the good of the order?
Chairperson,
Sarah.
I would just throw out here that it is 5:52. The City of Lacey's lighted parade starts at 6:30 at Huntermer Park, so we can all still make it if we leave now.
Oh, very good. Very good. That's a great advertisement. And everybody have a happy winter holidays and happy New Year's. I'll see you guys next year.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.